Welcome everybody to the November issue of the Chalk Bucket, and as always, or as we've been doing the last several months, we are introducing all of our coaches here at CrossFit Los Angeles, many of whom you know. My guess is that most of our viewers and a lot of the people out in Chalk Bucket land know who Danette, aka Diz Rivera, is. So this month we're going to be getting to know Diz, and obviously you're looking at us kind of wondering what's going on. Well, we're shooting this particular episode on the day before Halloween, and as we like to say at CFLA, Halloween comes once a year, but elves live forever. So with that out of the way, I'm very stoked to reintroduce you to those that already know her, and for those of you that don't, you need to know Mrs. Danette Rivera. So, Diz, a couple of things. How did you get your nickname Diz?
Well, that's a long story, but Ricky Cassidy gave me that nickname about 4 or 5 years ago when I made these treats for the Whole Life Challenge. And he called them Dizzle treats, and then he'd be like, Dizzle, one of the Dizzle treats coming, and then it got shortened to Diz. So Ricky Cassidy gave me that nickname. Ricky
Cassidy and the Dizzle treat. Are you going to make Dizzle treats anytime soon? And what is a Dizzle treat?
It's a Whole Life Challenge compliant treat. It's sort of a bread made out of coconut and almond meal and nuts and raisins. It's delicious.
Yeah, I remember. I ate it at your house. There was a Whole Life Challenge get together.
That's right.
I remember the genesis of the Diz nickname. And Ricky, we love you, by the way, and Lauren. So now Danette has been coaching for, gosh, how many years now?
Over 3.
Yeah, 3 years at CFLA. And what is your favorite thing about coaching? I know for you that's probably an endless list, but what are the things that you love most about coaching?
I think to narrow it down, my favorite thing is to kind of get this personal connection with people and help empower them to live their most optimal life. On a wide spectrum of things: physical, mental, emotional, clearing emotional obstacles through physicality to live their best life. So I enjoy that, empowering people the most, but also just the personal connections that I have with my clients and with the people in class. That's my favorite.
That's one of my favorite things about Danette as a coach, and one of the things that she'll be the first to acknowledge is that may not necessarily be a fire breather per se, but as a fire breather coach in that ability to get that very special quality, that connection, as you say, to the athlete or the client. And I think for us here, that's especially important. Why shift careers? You used to be in like the business world and the sales world, and why turn coach?
That's a good question. Well, I was a semiconductor broker for 20 years. The universe actually pushed me out of that industry, and I'm very thankful for that, because even though that was a dynamic, interesting industry, I wasn't helping to the capacity that I like to help. I didn't think I was doing any service of some kind, other than providing for my family, which was a big service for me. But so coaching, moving and being an athlete has saved my life on many occasions, and from when I was a kid, even up through adulthood, and it's just part of my rhythm. It's just part of my life. It's part of my philosophy, and it just seemed like a natural progression, as I was already a student here at CFLA, to just bleed into the coaching program and share the gifts that I have with other members and with clients. And it just seems sort of this organic shift.
Right. One of my favorite classes, if not my favorite class to sort of observe, is Danette's women's only class, because in that class there's this sort of the full expression of our methodology here, which is, as you guys know, sort of a context-driven methodology. But one of the things that is really pure in that class is that sort of understanding of like a greater context, like the workout is important, showing up is important, consistency is important, and so is context. In other words, it's looking at fitness from a very broad perspective rather than a very narrow perspective. And any women who haven't tried that class yet, I would highly encourage any of you to take it, and then if you're a male and somewhere around the gym on between 9 and 10 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'd highly recommend just kind of peeking in, not to leer as men can creepily do, but just to kind of see how classes really should be running here at CFLA, and a room full of people getting the perspective that we're trying to deliver, a very long-term approach. And Diz, I've really loved watching the growth of that class, and so any of you that are out there and know some women that are curious about getting into CrossFit, or even advanced CrossFit females, it's a perfect place for all. So I highly suggest that. Now, even though we're in our Halloween costumes, and this video will last forever, there is something coming up in the coming weeks that you're sort of spearheading. Will you tell us and the viewers what you're up to and taking the charge for the gym this November?
My daughter, my youngest daughter, Mina, and I, who's 16, we started a project called the Same Kits Project. It's a project where we are assembling feminine hygiene product kits for homeless women. And it just seemed like the most obvious and fundamental way and simple way that we could help the community and help women, really. And, you know, in many ways, this subject brings a woman getting their period, it brings a lot of shame, no matter your means, and thinking about how much more shame and embarrassment it must be if you don't have any products on hand when you're living on the street or you're in an at-risk situation. And I love that Mina was 100% on board. She's recruited her friends from high school. So at the gym, we're having a product drive from November 16th to November 21st, where you're bringing in tampons, pads, travel size wipes, travel size Advil, travel size hand sanitizers, and we're going, the women's program, and both my daughters, we're all going to assemble kits for this project. We've partnered up with Safe Place for Youth. It's a support center for homeless teens in Venice from ages 12 to 25. They supply a wide range of services, and they were just over the moon to hear that we wanted to provide these kits to them. They serviced about 162 young women last year. I mean, really from 12 to 25 who are at-risk situations, homeless for a wide number of reasons, and we're just really stoked to help out there.
So everybody can bring stuff. So just
Absolutely.
because you're female doesn't mean you can't bring your tampons or your kits. I mean, if you're a male, you can scoop some up. You can go to Rite Aid. You can go to CVS, grab some. And what else in addition to the tampons? Anything else that can be helpful during this drive?
A couple of the guys were a little embarrassed. I mean, this is one big thing too, is to just squash the shame around it. I mean, Mother Teresa got a period, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like everybody, we all got our periods. So, is that if you're uncomfortable with actually buying the product, I cost out a kit, a month's supply kit for about $7. Okay. So you can sponsor kits being made. So they're about $7 a pop. So if you want to just give for us to put the kit together, I totally accept that too. It's all good. It all goes to a great cause, and we're happy to have that.
Yeah, and again, that's November 16th through
the 21st.
21st. And then in December, an entirely different project, the book drive, is going to be happening.
Book drive, yeah. Becky Constantino, we're partnering up with her. She deals with a lot of foster kids and schools in lower income neighborhoods. Kids who don't own one book. So we're going to have a book drive throughout the holidays and into the holiday party that we'll have here at CFLA, and you can bring a book.
We'll have a tree, and you can put the books by the tree.
Yeah.
And so that'll be our second sort of philanthropic endeavor through the holidays. So if anybody wants to get more information, currently the Kits Project is on the CFLA website. As well, you can be thinking about what books you'd like to donate during our book drive in December. And Danette, we love having you here, and I'm very glad that you're spearheading these philanthropic pieces as well. Again, one of the big things about what we're trying to do here is think a little bit bigger than just what happens inside the box. There's a large world out there, and if we can do small little pieces to contribute to the joy versus contribute to the misery, then that's what we're going to endeavor to do. So bring in those kits, sponsor those kits, bring in those books, and everybody have a safe holiday season. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you, Danette. Oh, where can people find you? On Instagram or Facebook?
It's both Instagram and Facebook. I'm Diz Rivera.
Diz.
Diz Rivera.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a website, dizriv.com, and there's more information about the Safe Kits project there as well.
Boom, there it is. Thanks, you guys. We love you. We'll see you here. And if you haven't been through the gym walls in a while, we will be getting a paint job and redoing the floors through November and December as well. So a little bit of polishing of the gym. So come on by, take a look at what's new, and look forward to seeing you guys. Ciao.
Bye. Great.